Have you ever seen those special TV shows or movies? You know the ones that are so wonderfully, unintentionally bad, but they bring you so much joy and captivate you, but for all the wrong reasons.
Well, we here at Watch Rewatch absolutely live for these underdog gems.
So buckle up, Busters, and please allow us,
Colin
and Cadence, a sibling duo who share a passion for such cinematic excellence, to take you on a wild ride through all the TV shows and movie plots you never knew you needed to hear.
Hi there. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Are you guys still listening to us after last week's episode? I know some of you guys are probably upset with us for doing that movie.
I'm upset with us for doing that movie.
I am too. I'm still upset. I don't know. Face Off, I was pretty angry about.
You were so mad about Face Off. Yeah.
Face Off. But Gigli I hated more because Face Off was entertaining. Gigli I just hated, and it was not.
There's no redeeming qualities about it. There's none whatsoever. But let's not get sucked into a Gigli hole because trust me, I will.
That being said, let's go ahead and get into our movie this week. So this movie I had seen a little while ago. It had always popped up in like my peripheral as like a movie that should be watched by Cadence and I. And I guess there was an original in the 70s, which was actually good. And then Nicolas Cage came and did his thing, and he made a remake. And you guys, it's The Wicker Man.
The thing is that Nicolas Cage, whatever he decides to do is going to be a winner, right? So good call, Wicker Man. Good call.
You know what you're going to get with Nick Cage most of the time. Actually, you don't know what you're going to get.
That's the greatest thing about Nick Cage.
You're going to get a variety of things, but I guess that's, you know what you're going to expect if you expect a variety.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie before, but again, yes, it's on a lot of lists. And so we finally buckled down and
Did you understand it? Because I still don't understand any portion of it.
There was a lot of bees involved.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bees.
Lots of bees.
When I was watching it, I was doing my notes and stuff, and Jed was in the other room. All he heard was Nicolas Cage just shouting, and he's like, "What Nick Cage masterpiece are you watching in there?" And I'm like, "Wicker Man." And he's like, "Is it any good?"
Time.
And I was like, no, that's why we're doing it. It's not good. Not even a little bit.
But it's kind of so bad it's good almost. Bizarre and entertaining, but bad.
I mean, it culminates with him in a bear costume, so...
Okay, well,
it's
cool it.
Good.
Let's calm down. Nick Cage with bees in a bear costume, that's all I need.
All right.
And a random sucker punch to the face, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so when was this movie made? This is Wicker Man. I think it was like 2006, right? And it is loosely based. Well, not loosely. I guess it kind of tried to give a spin on the old one that was made. And it kind of is like a mystery. It's kind of like it's supposed to be like a dark mystery kind of movie.
It's kind of also supposed to be, I think, a psychological type of thriller.
Yeah. I think you're supposed to be like, wow, this is really getting into my mind. But you're actually like, what the hell is going on? That's me with every movie, but... I guess in that case, every movie is a psychological.
I think my watching Wicker Man is how you feel watching any movie.
Yeah.
All right.
So without further ado, let's jump into it. Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage. All right. So the cool thing about the start of this movie is Nicolas Cage is a badass, you guys. We know this from the opening 15 minutes. It's just him riding around as a cop on a motorcycle, handing out tickets left and right.
Yeah, you think he's going to be like fighting crime, but nope. He is just writing those citations like nobody's business.
You think you're going to speed by him? No way, Buster. You think you're going to litter? Hell no. Nick Cage is on the case.
Again.
So immediately he's following a car, being a badass like he is, and it's like a station wagon, and he sees a little doll fly out of it, right? And he's like, pull these busters over for littering. And he pulls it over, and it's a mom and her daughter. Casual enough, right?
Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here.
And he's like, why does your daughter keep throwing these out the window? And the daughter, you guys, she's real cray. She's in the back, just silent, doesn't say a word. The only thing she says is that she's bored. And I'm like, well, don't throw your toys out the window. Play with them, and then you won't be bored.
I don't know if you know this, but toys actually keep you busy.
The things that you could play with, like your dolls, keep you from not being bored. So she just keeps throwing it out, and Nicolas Cage, because he's a good guy, you know, he just keeps grabbing that doll, and she throws it out one final time, you guys, while Nick Cage goes to grab it. Boom. Explosion.
So the car blows up. He's freaking out. He runs back. He cracks the window. He makes one last attempt to reach the girl in the back seat, and one
You guys,
last
the car's on
explosion
fire.
happens.
The car's on fire, and this little girl in the back seat still does not give a flying fuck. Her look on her face is almost like she's confused, and she's just bored and confused. And I'm like, man,
she's like,
what
this fire
happened
is
to this girl?
boring.
Yeah, this fire is so boring. And then she's like, is that Nicolas Cage trying to save me? Like, it's just a close up of her bored face. Yep, one last explosion, boom, all's done.
And yeah, their car's just done for. The people are done for. It's
nice
not
way to
end
put
well.
that. Nice way to put that, Cadence.
Also, should we say that? I mean, do we want to refer to him as Nick Cage, or do we want to refer to him as Edward because that's his character's name?
I don't know. Nick Cage has
Just
to go
for
by
the
Nick
sake of
Cage.
clarity.
Although we did get into character for Gisli.
All right, let's just do Nick Cage. It's fine.
Yeah, Nick Cage.
We fast forward and we're seeing Nick Cage in his house, and he is not doing well. He has taken a leave of absence from work. He is taking a ton of medication. He's having nonstop
Nick
flashbacks.
Cage, you're a cop, dude. You've for sure seen a car blow up before. Come on.
He's just a traffic cop. He's seen nothing exciting happen ever. This
Why would
is
think
the
if you're a
only
traffic
time
cop,
he's
you
ever
would
been in
definitely,
danger.
if all things you were to see is a car blow up or a car
I
accident.
guess you're right. I guess you're right. Maybe so.
All right, so after that, we're met sometime later, and Nick Cage, man, he's just not doing too well. And just in case you forgot he was a cop, he's in sweats at home, taking pills, he's not sleeping, not eating, but just because you have to remember he's a cop, his sweatpants have a little cop star on him. Just remember, he's a cop.
Listen, he's a
Hey.
cop even in sweats.
Yeah, he's still a cop, guys. He's just in his sweats, taking pills, not being able to sleep. And he gets a knock on the door, and it's a female cop friend who's like, hey, you haven't been doing too well, brought you some mail.
Listen, it's not that I'm not pointing out that it's a woman just for the sake of it. It's relevant, not at this exact moment, but it is relevant.
So you're saying this is psychologically going to mess with our minds later? That
I'm
she's a
saying
female cop.
pack this away. Because your mind's gonna be
need it.
blown.
Okay, so she's like, hey, you're kind of a hero for what? You didn't save anybody, but...
I know, I was like, you didn't save anybody. The whole thing was just an absolute disaster.
Right, it was an
but okay.
absolute disaster that you could have
People
not
are like,
avoided.
hey, I heard about you. Didn't save those people from that car accident. Could you retire, please?
Because she's like, you're getting all this mail. People have heard your story. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I couldn't save them. And I'm like, yeah, that is kind of weird because you really didn't. It's not like you entered the burning car to try to save. Yes, you tried to break open the windshield. I get it. But the car was baby on fire. Then it blew up and you passed out. It blew up and you got knocked out. I didn't save anybody. Anyway, I guess people are thinking he's this big hero. And so they sit down and she's like, I just wanted to let you know, like, yeah, with the car, there was no registration. We couldn't link it to anybody. And he's like, oh, man. Well, what about the two in it? And she's like, yeah, there were no bodies in it. We couldn't even find any body or any parts. And he's like, well, then who were they? And she's like, Nick Buster, how many of them pills you taking? Because there were no bodies and the car wasn't registered. So we don't know who those two people were.
Listen, bud, there were no bodies.
So he's like, so you didn't get their wallets. You don't know who they are. Their birth certificate. She's like,
No dental
everything
records.
burned. Everything burned. The car burned. So
I don't know how many times I have to
you
tell
don't have their social media accounts. And he's like, no, there was nothing. Point being, they couldn't figure out who they were.
Yeah, and he's really, Colin kind of blew past it, but he's really having a hard time. He's having flashbacks. He's unable to sleep. He is completely consumed by this, and he has taken this leave of absence. So she comes to bring him his hero mail, I guess. And in the mix, there is a letter with no return address.
And the handwriting is beautiful, I will say. It's calligraphy at its
absolutely.
finest. I want to take calligraphy so bad. I mean, it really is, guys. We're not joking. We're not being facetious.
It's
It really is
gorgeous.
nice.
So here's what the letter says.
Edward, I know that we haven't spoken in a few years and things ended badly. Or I ended them badly, to be more fair. I didn't want to hurt you any more than I did. Now I must. To the point. I have a daughter. She is a perfect child, and her name is Rowan. She has been missing for 2 weeks now, and I need your help. I should explain. I live on Summers Isle, a tiny place in Puget Sound. I doubt you've heard of it. It is where I grew up. Do you remember how you always used to ask me? Now you know. Rowan couldn't have left the island by herself. She's too young. I have tried to find her on my own, but am receiving little help from the community. I fear she is in danger, so now I turn to you. I pray that you'll forgive me. Yours fondly, Willow Woodward.
what we gather from this letter, and we don't have all the information right at this moment, but Willow,
As movies tend to do.
because
They
I don't know
just
if
give you the
know
whole
this,
plot.
but as you watch movies, like more and more things unfold as you watch it. So
I want
it's
it all
you
at once at the
find
very
out
beginning, and then I want the movie to
little-
follow through with it. I don't want to have
This
any
is the movie.
surprises.
This is the plot point.
I want to know who the fuck Willow is. I want to know who those dead bodies were. I want to know exactly what's going to happen. And then if it happens, great.
Listen,
Good movie.
this movie does something really unique. It just sort of like gives you a little bit of information, takes you to the next scene, gives you a little bit more information, takes you to the next scene. It's quite interesting,
Mhm,
actually.
The way it's done. The way it's done.
It's what's the word? Innovative. Definitely. No other movie has done this before it. So he goes to the station to get some more No, he doesn't get more information.
You're all boggled because you got all the information. It's not coming to you at once. So now you've got information on the brain. You're like, should I look up Wicker Man? Should I look up the plot to get more information? This movie is already working its psychological magic.
Wicker Man,
Wicker
damn
Man,
you.
one step closer.
We don't have all the information. All we know is that they have some sort of history. Willow has a daughter named Rowan. Willow and Nick Cage have a history. Rowan is missing, and Willow doesn't know who to ask. So she's gone to him.
'Cause
So
she's a hero. She's like, I heard about
Well,
you not
obviously.
saving. I've heard about you not really saving those people from that burning car accident. So I thought I would ask you for a favor that maybe
her
you
daughter's
could do.
missing. Maybe you could
Hey,
do
maybe
this.
you could be the hero of this story, but I'm only going to
I
give you a little bit.
feel like I feel like he's gonna be like, so Rowan's missing, and she's like, yes. Do you know where she is? No,
no,
Nick,
she's
I
gone.
don't know.
So did she leave any clues about exactly where she'd be? Okay, never mind.
Actually, maybe it was a mistake. Just
I
go
was a
ahead
little-
and burn this
I was a
letter.
little bit drunk when I heard about your heroic, non-heroic actions and just decided to write you this.
The next scene is where us, the viewers, get a little bit more information. Nick goes and is talking to one of his fellow cops. He's like, were you here when this letter got dropped off? Because there's no stamp. And he's like, that's so weird. And he goes, well, who is this? His friend's like, who is this Willow lady? He's like, well, listen, we used to be engaged. And I'm like, so you know where the letter came from and you know who wrote it? Like,
So we used to be engaged, and she lives on 4 Everblock Lane, okay? And I know exactly who wrote it and when, but like,
oh my god. Oh my god. So the friend is like, oh, so she's contacting you now to find her kid? That's really shitty.
yeah,
And Nick's like,
I'm a freaking
yeah, because I'm
hero.
a cop.
yeah, I'm a
like,
hero cop.
It
Top
doesn't feel
hero.
all that weird that she would be asking a police officer for help
He's
finding
like,
her
yeah,
kid, but whatever.
you're like a highway cop. The friend's like, yeah, but you only do kind of road stuff. Like, this might be out of your wheelhouse.
Did she go
bud.
missing like on a road?
God,
Do you
so
want to
stupid.
think about
Okay.
this a little bit? And the friend, though, the thing about the friend cop is like he's super offended that Willow would be asking Nick Cage because she left him. Like she broke off their engagement and took off. And he's like, God, what a bitch. Like, I can't believe she'd be writing you to do this. And I'm like, I mean, I feel like maybe you override the breakup when a kid is missing, but I mean, I don't know. But
maybe just take that out and be like, hey, yeah, I'm just a decent person that can help you find your child. Even though you left
He's
me,
like-
we've had some good times. Appreciate it. Gonna find your kid. Gonna try to find your kid.
It's so weird. And he's like, why doesn't she ask the kid's dad? And I'm like, because the kid's dad's not a police officer.
We also
it's-
don't know. She didn't leave us with that information. Okay? We don't know what the
Listen.
kid's dad does, okay?
We'll get a little bit more information in the next scene. Willow's writing from a place called Summer's Isle, and it's this mysterious farming community somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. And she's like, there's no phone service. It's really hard to find. And nobody in the community is helping me look for my kid. And I'm like,
Willow, you in a cult, girl. Willow, I'm a detective, and I'm gonna say, you're in a cult. Hey, cult.
also, let's not send snail mail letters. Like, if your kid's missing,
I know to be like, I suspect you'd want to get off that island pretty quick and come find
maybe
me.
let's find a phone.
Also, snail mail with no return address. You're really... A few red flags should be raised in Nicolas Cage's. Because if my kid was missing, I'd be frantic. But she's like writing, and he's... the letter's written in a calligraphy. My child is missing.
She really took time
She
too
took
with an
so much
inkjet
time.
pen.
That letter took at least 2 weeks. Also, I'd be like, why are you there if none of the community's helping you find your girl?
That's what I'm
getting from this
saying.
island, Willow? What are you getting from this island.
How are you winning in this scenario?
I know,
by
this seems
any stretch.
so many red flags would be going up, but regardless, he's a good guy and he's got to go help. He's also a cop, a hero cop, and this might just be the thing to get him out of his funk. How Nick Cage gets his groove back. Wicker Man style.
All right, so it's really hard to get to Summer's Isle. As we've learned, there's no phone service, there's no computer service, and only snail mail. And you can only be invited there as he hears from a little pilot. So he makes it to the very, very far coast and realizes he needs to take a little puddle jumper plane from the coast to the island of Summer's Isle. And there's a little pilot making weekly deliveries.
Why do you keep saying little pilot?
Because he's just a tiny little guy.
He's like a little horse jockey pilot. He's like, get in, come on. The plane's got to be as light as possible. It's like a kid.
He's a gnome. So I think I'm saying tiny because it's like a tiny little plane, and maybe I'm just lumping him all in together.
You know anything about a place called Summer's Isle?
Yes, I do. In fact, I make most of the deliveries around there.
Deliveries, huh?
Yep, just about every day. That's what I'm doing now.
What would I have to do to catch a ride with you?
Oh, no. I don't care to lose my contract with these folks. They're very particular.
How about you take all of us there?
What do you mean, oh?
Well, me, Mr. Grant here, and his twin brother Ulysses.
He says, you can't get on this island unless you're invited, bud. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, what if my money invites me? And
he throws out a bunch of ones. He's like, yeah, I got $6. How's that sound? And the little pilot's like, well, I am really small. And the money's a lot bigger to me, so let's go.
$6 does seem pretty big.
Seems like a pretty big number, and I'm a pretty small guy, so let's go.
The money does the trick, and he takes...
Surprise, surprise.
Because he is really stalwart. Because what he says specifically is like, this job is very important to me. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to be the one bringing uninvited strangers onto the island. And he's like, oh, what about a Benjamin Franklin? And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, no issue whatsoever. Let's go.
As many unwelcome guests as I can get on this tiny little plane. Get on. So dumb. So needless to say, Nicolas Cage gets to, what is it, Summer's Isle? And
yes, Summer's Isle.
It's real Scandinavian, like Viking status. Everyone's blonde and wearing these weird outfits, very cult-like, okay? And he's immediately introduced to the town elder women, and they've all got sweet little rat braids, sweet little rat tail braids. All of them. It's so good. And he's kind
of course, they're immediately creepy and angry.
Yeah, and again, no red flags are going on, but I'd be like, oh yeah, they make sense because this is a cult where Willow is, so I should be prepared for this. But one thing that is noteworthy happens when he meets these town elders, all with their little rat braids, their tiny little rat braids. There is a person or a thing underneath a
we don't know what
it is. It's like a potato sack type thing.
Mm-hmm.
The little guy in the plane brought it. He's like, oh,
they're like, we don't know, dude. He just makes the delivery.
I don't know. He just bribed me. Nicolas Cage is then a little bit of red flags are going off. Like, this looks like a body.
Blood is dripping out of the bottom of the bag.
What's in the bag? A shark or something?
So,
red
who
flag
is that?
number one.
So do you know who that is? No. Okay, well, who is it? So he thinks it's probably a dead body, and he goes to kind of investigate. And my favorite part is they just like let him. They're like, yeah, lift up under this burlap sack. You do it, stranger, in a business suit while we're all wearing Viking gear. It's so dumb. And just as he goes to lift it up, it moves. So he's like, okay, well, it's not dead, so don't care anymore. So whatever's going on here.
It's still actively dripping. The thing is, it moves, so it startles him so bad, he drops it, and then he doesn't look again. Like, oh,
he's like, yeah, they've got this taken care of. Yeah, that seems how you take care of an injured person. Cover them in a burlap sack and drag them up a hill. Makes sense to me. Doesn't give a shit. And he's like, okay, I'm a cop. As long as they're not dead.
Not alarmed at all.
As long as they're not dead. As long as it's got a pulse. Don't need to worry about it. I'm going to go to the main cabin. I don't know of this stupid cult. So he goes into this cabin after that little exchange.
Wait. The only thing that is even weirder than him leaving the body bleeding in a rucksack bag in front of him is that he's like, I'm looking for Willow. And the old ladies are like, we don't know Willow. And then he's like, I feel like you do because you wrote me a letter from here. And they're like, oh yeah. Willow. We do know her. Yes. She lives on the hill. But whatever you heard about her daughter, it's not true. That's not her daughter. That's not her daughter. And
that's usually what innocent people do.
Thanks.
And again, he's not. He's like,
He's like, it
this
couldn't possibly be that bloody body in that bag, could it? Nope, not her daughter. Not her daughter.
Not her,
Nothing
I don't
to
know.
see here.
I love when I meet people and they're like, whatever you've heard about me, not true. And I'm like, that instantly gives me a good feeling about you. They do. It's like, they could just be like, yeah, she lives on the hill, not ratted themselves out. Not the right way to
But
go.
first
if
they're
trying
like,
to
we
be.
don't know her. Wait, we do know her. She lives
Also,
over there. That's not her
Don't
kid.
listen to what he said. Her kid, totally cool. We don't know where she is, but she's cool. So he's like, okay, again, his spidey senses aren't quite going off. He's like, this still seems like a situation I've got control of. Because I'm Nick Cage. And he's like, I've written so many tickets in my day. This seems a lot like this. So that's when he goes to the head Schnurfelgerg, which is, I'm sure, some kind of Scandinavian
Did you just
word.
make that word up?
I did. It sounds Scandinavian for bar.
I really thought that you knew what that word was. So good.
Schnurfenler.
You said it with confidence. Yeah,
I
he's
did.
looking for lodging in the process.
Let's just cut to the chase. It's a weird place, okay? Everyone's kind of blonde and weird. They're looking at him. He meets this big, I don't want to be rude, but she's quite physically large woman who is
Right.
kind of intimidating, who's running this lodging area, and no one's quite nice to him, and everyone's very weary of him.
Hi. Are you the barmaid here, or whatever you call it?
I'm Sister Beach, yes. And you're that officer from California?
That's right. Name's Malus. Edward Malus. I'd just like a room and a meal. Can you swing it?
Swing what? Is that some kind of city talk?
Manage. That's what he means. Can we manage to put him up?
Well, since he didn't take the hint and leave, I suppose we'll have to. For one night at least.
And she gives him a drink. He wants some alcohol. She gives him a drink. She's like, this is our special mead. It's honey and herbs and other stuff.
This here is mead. It's one of the pleasures of our island. A brew of honey, herbs, and whatnot.
And again, chugs it. He's like, okay, yeah.
I'm thirsty. You know what? I'm parched after that 12-minute tiny plane ride. I'll take this.
Not a red flag in sight. Then he sees Willow out of the corner of his eye. And again, no rush whatsoever. Takes his time drinking that mead. He's like, you know what, Willow? I'll get to you when I get to you. Let me just finish this
Right
up.
now, I'm dealing with Helga,
real
who's
quick.
offering me some weird honey drink. And also, everybody's kind of like homely, and it's like a cult, like a Scandinavian cult. Willow, of course, walks
I
in.
feel like
with
Scandinavian people are going to be
No,
offended that
no.
you called them homely.
No. I mean, Scandinavian in the sense that they're like blonde-haired, blue-eyed. Everyone's very
I see.
that kind of. They're white. Everyone's white. basically.
There's
Let's
no
say that.
diversity.
But when I
No-
say
not
homely,
a
I mean it
diversity.
seems like it would be filmed in like 6th century AD in Viking
Right.
time. Because everyone's dressed very weird. It's like hay and barns and wood. So she comes in though, Willow, and of course she's gorgeous. She's just
Oh.
like the backlighting, the
Stunning.
hair. She's got full makeup on, and she's like, "Oh, I snuck a little Maybelline onto this cold island."
She looks like Fiona Apple. She's so pretty. There's a reason Nick Cage and Willow have a history. I would have a history with Willow.
Oh, I would have a history with Willow immediately. So Nicolas Cage finally gets done sipping down that honey mead.
That mystery
And I don't know if you
mead.
guys know where honey comes from. Just think about it for a minute. Bees.
He is super. Listen, I don't know if we've emphasized this enough. He's very good at his job.
Very smart.
So
He's able
when
to
he's-
catch on to all kinds of clues and patterns and weirdness going on around him.
So when he's done drinking his mystery mead, he's like, slams it down, makes an announcement to the whole room. He says,
I think you all should know that I'm here on business. This is official police business, and I want to speak to each one of you at some point.
Official California business, is it? Because this is Washington.
I'm aware of that.
Then fine.
No, Mrs. Beach, it is not fine. It is anything but fine when a person is lost, especially a child.
the
That's
first
what
thing
you
you do when you're a
say.
cop
Yep. And you go
is
to a
announce
cult.
your presence.
You go to a cult place where you literally just saw a bleeding body under a burlap sack. And you met the 3 witch elder ladies who told you that they knew Willow, but they didn't, but not to pay attention to her daughter. But
And
2.
then you warn all of them that you're going to be coming around. So if they need to hide or escape the island to avoid questioning,
The next day,
Now's the
everyone's
time.
gone. He's like, you know what? I probably should have made that announcement saying that I'm going to go to each person and interview them because they all might have had something to do with this because it's kind of giving me a weird vibe.
it's pretty
Oh,
amazing.
I love you, Nick Cage. You smart
so
pants.
he's at the end of this formal announcement, a bee is fluttering around him and lands on his head or arm or something, and he slaps it and kills it. And the woman is Sister Beach is like,
Now, why would you go and do a thing like that?
why on earth would
We'll
you
call
do that to a
Sister
poor
Beach is
innocent?
the large Helga. We'll call her Helga.
Right.
She gives a Helga vibe to me.
And she's like, why would you do that? And he's like, sorry, I'm allergic.
And she's
So-
like, I just gave you honey meat. Okay.
I want you guys, listen, we talked a little bit about how information comes like one step at a time. Think about this for a second, okay? The mead is a special honey mead. There's bees flying around. He kills a bee and it really angers Helga Beach.
And then he gives the reason that he's allergic. All coming from a little girl. All coming full circle.
All I'm saying is there might be something to do with bees.
There might be something to do with it. Dun-cha. After that, he's like, Willow, I'm ready to talk now after I killed this bee and everyone's mad at me and I made this stupid announcement. She's like, it's not private here. Let's go to a private place. And he's like, again, this makes sense. Everything
Right.
about this is cool. There's
no rush whatsoever, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they're
None.
slowly walking into the forest. And
She doesn't see him and she's not like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. My child's missing. She's like, hey, I'm just going to go get some sheets, but can you maybe meet me in there in like
follow me a little
5
bit later.
I am being watched, but we must try to speak later in private. There is a place out beyond the point. Meet me there in an hour. Edward, be careful and believe nothing that you see or hear. My God, to see your face again.
So he goes and instantly he's not like, hey, I want to know about your daughter. I'll help you. He's like,
Traditionally, the guy gets his ring back when the fiance runs away.
hey, why'd you break off our engagement?
Yeah, he's like, do you still have my ring? And I'm like,
I want to pawn that off. And it was really nice. And I came here just to get that ring. And it's like, okay, your priorities are all over the place, but we do see how hot Willow is. And now we're like,
I get it.
kind of want to
I
know
get
too. She's like, I broke off our engagement because look at me and look,
and look
at you. Do I need to say more?
Listen, I know you're not the best detective in the world, but maybe you could put the pieces of that puzzle together for me.
He's still like,
sweetie.
where? Who? Who's not the best?
So she's like, do you think I'm crazy? And he's like,
Why do this? Stir this all up again. I'm so...
why are you stirring up shit between us right now? She's like, again, my child is missing. This is not about you. I stirred this up because you're a cop and my kid is missing. Like, he cannot focus on the fact that an emergency
Also, he
is
doesn't
happening.
ask her any other questions. I'd be like, number one, why are you living on a cult island that you didn't give me the name? And number two, why is there a dead body in a burlap sack? Why do 3 women witches with little rat tails run this place? And what the hell is going on with Helga? Because she runs a tight ship. I'd be asking all kinds of questions like, who makes your
Right.
clothes? All of these things. And what was that honey meat I bought? And why is everyone so mad about bees? Nope, he just asks about engagement. Wants his ring back. That's the end. And she, again, is kind of concerned about her daughter, but not really.
Anyway, my daughter is what matters to me now. Rowan.
Right, because she's...
my daughter. That's why. You're a cop. That's why.
So it gets even weirder because she's like, listen, I know you think I'm crazy, but here's the thing. Do not trust anyone. They will mislead you. But someone here has my kid. There's no way my kid got off the
Willow,
island.
stop being mysterious. Just tell me flat out, like, who not to trust. Just be like, hey, don't trust Helga. She's fucking crazy. Like, just tell me, like, why does it have to be
You
so
can't
mysterious? If you want my help,
Trust
I'd be like,
anyone.
girl, you want my help to find your daughter. If you're serious, why'd you send me snail mail? Why are you living on a mysterious island in Colt? Why didn't you, like, go to the mainland? Like, what's going on? But he's a cop.
Why is
He
there
knows
no
what he's doing.
urgency? Why did 2 weeks pass before I
He
got
knows-
your snail mail
he
letter?
knows.
And who knows what happened in that
You know
time?
what? He's a cop. Can't ask questions. Nick Cage knows what he's doing.
I mean, it's just going to make this hunt for the child that much more complicated because you don't know who's ever going to be telling the truth. She leaves because she's like, listen, everybody's watching me. They think I'm nuts. Just be careful. Good luck. Bye. He unpacks, and you guys, he has like 22 EpiPens in his bag.
I love
Again, real heavy with the bee situation. Very, very bee symbol heavy.
So later that night, after Willow leaves and he's like this, he's still got no suspicions. He goes to bed and he's still struggling with what happened. So he's having these real like crazy dreams / hallucinations. He's seeing a little girl. He sees a little girl after he has a dream about the girl that died in the car accident. And he sees this little girl and she leads him to a barn. Long story short, he finds an old barn and follows the girl.
There's so much wandering through forests in this movie, just endless
Yeah.
wandering through forests.
And they don't really
like, old
explain how he got
barns.
back to his hotel room because he
No.
wakes up in his hotel room after he finds this barn in the forest that he follows this imaginary little girl to. We're getting too far into it. He wakes up real grumpy the next day, goes down, guess what? He can't get any damn honey for his tea. He goes to Helga's bar, Mrs. Beach's. He goes to her bar.
Sister Beach.
Sister Beach. Okay, come on. Now it's all sister. Now you know you're in a cult. Like, could this not be any more obvious? Come on, Nick. But no, I'm not a cop. I shouldn't say that. That's rude. I'm not a cop. Don't know how cops work. He's undercover. Except for he's not really, because he announces it to the whole cult community. But whatever.
He's very, very. I was trying to say the opposite of undercover, and I was like, on top of cover.
On top of, he's very on cover right now. But this is where he meets someone that you guys might remember. This little actress. She was in Never Been Kissed. She was also in Glass House, I think. Was it called Glass House?
Oh, that was something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, it's Lily Sobieski. I love me some Sobieski. Am I saying her name right?
Yes.
So guess what her name is?
Sobieski.
So that's why they picked her.
Plot.
No, her name is Sister Honey.
Uh-huh.
Again, another bee situation. And so
heavy on that bee imagery.
He's angry because he can't get honey from Helga's restaurant. She kind of witnesses it. Later, he finds her chopping wood, and that's when he corners Sister Honey.
No. You forgot a very important thing that happens. He cannot get the honey. He's like, hey, can you get me some honey? And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry about the honey. We don't have any, actually. Our crop got cursed last year.
Oh, casual. Casual. Cursed by who? You know what, Sister Honey? Get over here. Tell me a story. I feel like there's something I'm not getting about this whole community, and I can't quite put my finger on it.
He asks not a question. He's just like, oh, well, that's a bummer. Okay, well, I'll take some sugar. Like,
could you imagine if you go to a restaurant and they're like,
hell?
sorry, bees were cursed this year. No honey. You're like, all right, cool. Don't want to know anything else about that. I'm going to order the croissants. Right. So, yes, then later on,
then he finds
meets,
her chopping wood.
Yes, chopping wood, Sister Honey, who again is Lily Sobieski. And he's asking her all these questions, shows her a picture.
Hey, I meant to ask you in there, do you recognize this girl?
And she's just like, all I care about is this cursed honey. Look, I don't have time for this bullshit.
I got a cursed honey on the brain.
Cursed honey. I gotta make up for this. The town needs their honey. He shows Sister Honey a picture of Rowan. And he's like, have you seen this girl? She's like, I don't give a shit. I just want to chop this wood and I want to get my bees to not be cursed. And he's like, cool, got it.
I want to chop this wood, break this curse. That's it.
I got two things on my mind, and those two things, breaking curses, chopping wood. So he's like, okay, well, because I'm being super inconspicuous and undercover, I'm going to go around asking everyone in the town, including an entire schoolhouse full of children, if they've seen this girl. And everyone is real weird. No one wants to say a damn word.
He, again, has to venture through the forest because, again, there's so much forest venturing. He passes by, inexplicably, 5 pregnant women in a row.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of strange. But again, he's like,
no explanation.
This is cool. Probably all that honey. Probably full on honey. Winnie the Pooh and Stat. They're like Winnie the Pooh in it. And they're just like, man, we have so much honey. Our bellies are so big. He's like, yep, I'm a cop. That sounds right.
Totally logical. Get it. I get it. Honey
and
belly.
My favorite part is after he meets those 5 women who are pregnant walking through the woods, and again, like this real old school drapery, he goes to the schoolhouse and all the children have drawn pictures of bees and honey all over the wall. Just stick figures of bees. And you guys, we've talked about this in a couple different movies we've done. Directors have no concept of the age of children they're casting and their abilities to create art. Because these children are far beyond like these little bumblebee drawings that have like little stick legs and like smiley faces. It looks like a fucking 2-year-old drew them, but they are for sure like 13, 14 years old. So again.
Listen, all I'm saying, set dressers, is if you have to create artwork in the movie, just get a kid, age appropriate, be like, hey, do you want to draw this for me real quick?
Hey, what's your idea of a bee? Draw a bee. What's your picture of a beehive? Because it's just real bad. But something weird happens. I do want to say one more thing in this school scene. All of it is girls, and they're all wearing braids, and they're all blonde. It's a very, like I said. And he's angry, showing all of them, you guys know who this girl is. No one's saying a word. But he finds a crow in a
Wait. You're fast forwarding. You have to.
No, that's what he does.
No. It's true. But you've missed the best part, which is when he walks in, the teacher's asking this group of girls,
and Daisy, will you tell us what man represents in his purest form?
Phallic symbol, phallic symbol.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Because up until this point, you guys, there hasn't been many men up until this point. I don't want to give too much away visually. There have been 0 to any men up until this point. So I just realized that actually.
Did you really? So, I don't know if you know this.
I was trying to act.
But when you watch a movie, you get a little bit more information every time.
This whole time I was pulling a Nick Cage. I was like, this seems like a pretty cool situation. Like, this community is a little off, but I didn't even realize until this point. I watched this movie twice, rewatching it as we're doing this, and I never realized that it was all female oriented.
You know what? True art gives you a new insight every time.
You walk past pregnant women. I'm like, they've got to be out making honey. They're just not being shown. I don't know. Like Willow, I don't know.
It's fine. So they're talking about phallic symbols just as schoolrooms do in the woods. And he's showing his badge like a real cool guy. He's like, hey.
That is her name, Rowan Woodward. Do any of you recognize the name or the photograph? Whose desk is this? Where's the attendance record?
I'm looking for a girl, and everybody says she's missing. And he starts just being top-notch detective that he is, going up to each little girl. He's like, hey, do you know who this is? Hey, do you know who this is? Hey, do you know who this is?
Everyone's like, nope. You know who this is? Nope. I saw you speeding on your bike the other day, girl. Give me your ticket. You know who this is? No, I don't.
And in the process of him being psychotic and asking each little girl who it is, that's when he opens a desk and a crow flies out. So again, not a question, not a, is there a reason you guys trapped a crow in a desk?
These girls must not know this crow was in here. Is this a phallic symbol? What's going on here?
He's decided the one question he has come up with in all of this hubbub is, where's your attendance record? And the teacher, who is named
Rose, Sister Rose.
Of course. Another plant. Rose.
She's like, you can't do that. And he's like, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a police officer.
I do think, though, I don't know a lot about law enforcement. I do think you have to have, like, your territory, right? Like, you can't be a police officer. Like, I can't go to Canada as a police officer in New Mexico and be like, hey, I'm a police officer. Give me your records. Like, they'd be like, no, you can't do that.
This is where I feel like we're in a gray area because, no, you can't just go into any territory. But also, this territory is like unincorporated and they don't have a police station and they don't have any public service. So, like, I don't know. What do you do when a kid goes missing?
How do you know? I'm pretty sure I know about Officer Fur.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
I was trying to do a nature-themed, bee-themed name,
tell.
like Officer Beehive, but I went Officer Fur. Because, you know, like there's, like, animals have fur and it's part of nature. They have Officer
Fur.
Well, then I was going fur tree, and then I was like blue fur. I missed it all. Okay, let me try again.
You saw your wheels turning.
They might have Officer Ding. Operation Sting.
What? What'd you just say?
I'll get there. Operation
I feel like that was a real missed opportunity.
I know.
That they were having
then
a
I started
sting
thinking
operation.
about all thing, and I was thinking sting operation. I'm going to use that joke again for sure, but you know.
Basically, Sister Rose is like, you can't take my attendance record. He steals it from behind her anyway, and guess what?
You little liars. Rowan Woodward is your classmate, isn't she? Isn't she?
He finds Rowan's name on it, okay? So every single girl in here has said she does not know Rowan. They don't know who he's talking about. They've all looked at the picture. The teachers looked at the picture. Every single person in that room is like, Rowan does not exist. I don't know what you're talking about. But they forgot to erase her name from the attendance
But he's
record.
also like, well, I guess they said they didn't know who she is. It must just be a random Rowan knowing him. You gotta back up all your tracks. If you're gonna commit a crime, make sure you erase your attendance records, teachers.
Yeah, and it's
make
a
sure
freaking handwritten attendance record.
All you have to do is get that pencil out, girl, and just erase that Rowan name.
You've already trained every single one of these kids to be like, I have no idea who you're talking about. Just get out that attendance record, little erase.
The teacher's like, shit, I had that on my to-do list. I was gonna erase her name from the attendance records.
I totally forgot. Again, they do this thing where they deny, and they're like, okay, well, we do, but it's not what you think. So Sister Rose is like, they're all like, we don't know Rowan. And then she's like, okay. So Rowan was a student, yes, but it's not what you think. She's not missing. She's dead. And he's like, okay, so it's worse than I thought it was.
Okay. So you're telling me she's not alive. Where is she? She's dead. So where is she? Not alive. Don't know. Okay. So if I were to find her, where is she?
So she's not missing because she's dead. Got it. He's like, well, why on earth is Willow so upset? And he's like, well, because she's grieving. But listen, again, let me just make this more
upset? Because your daughter's gone. Does she know? Does Willow know her daughter's dead and you killed her? Like, what's going on? Psychological thriller.
Then she's like, listen, in our community, no one really dies. They just change form. So, like, it's not the tragedy that you think it is. Just chill. And he's like, but I just need to know what happened because Willow thinks that her daughter's missing. I gotta tell her she's dead. She goes, don't bother. She's grieving. She's crazy. She's grieving. She's sick with grief. Don't worry about it. He's like, would you at least tell me how she died? And Sister Rose is like,
It was an accident.
What kind of accident? How?
Mr. Melis, it was an accident. Leave things alone, please.
I'm a police officer. I came here and made an announcement. I'm supposed to be investigating this. He's the laziest investigator ever. He just wants everyone to give him all the information all the time. Like,
Right.
that's
So
not
he's
the
like-
point of investigating, Buster.
he's also taking a lot of meds. So maybe he's not quite, maybe that's the whole point
Okay,
is like, he's
okay.
not quite as agile as he's always been intellectually. I don't know.
He's
I'm
just
trying
like-
to make
He's like
allowances
Brenda
with
from freaking Freshwater. He's like, tell me what happened.
Well,
So who did it?
Should I? Is that
So tell me exactly where it go. Tell me who did it, who killed it, what's the weapon? And they're like, dude, you're a police officer who's supposed to be investigating what happened. After that weird interaction with Sister Rose, who runs the all-girls school, who denies knowing a girl who disappeared, but also says, yeah, we know her. She's dead. He's walking, and just side note, Cadence pointed this out, but he sees an exact replica of Sister Rose pass him, and there's no follow-up on that.
Hey, didn't I just speak with you? Miss Rose, Sister Rose?
No, you didn't.
it's punctuated with some dramatic music, and he's like, didn't I just see you at the classroom? And she's like, not me. And it's like,
Bye, not me, bye.
"Do-do-do-do-do-do-do,"
But
and then
we're
we
not
never,
joking. There's
ever
nothing
talk
that
about that
happens.
again.
But he also passes something also very peculiar. And this is where we do see some males, but they are younger teenage males. And they're with a group of also younger females. And they're working on something. They're just working their little hearts away on this wooden structure.
You guys, we don't know what it is yet.
I don't know what it is. And because Nicolas Cage is such a good detective, he's like, not going to ask any questions. This looks like a totally fine. This looks like a day at an
Not
adolescent
going to
life.
interrupt their workday.
They look like they're hard at work. Not going to ask one single question why they're not at school, and not going to ask them if they've seen this girl. Just going to march right by him. Mrs. Rose did tell Nicolas Cage that Rowan was dead, which was big shock, and that if he wants to go to her grave. Feels like this mystery's been solved pretty easy. So he's like, all right, I'll go. And as he's looking at it, it's like a little lump in the ground. Guess who pops up?
Obviously, Willow looking flawless as ever. And she's like, listen, I know you're looking with your eyeballs at this headstone that says Rowan lays in peace. It's not her, though. Trust me. I didn't put this grave there. It's all part of this elaborate plot. They're making me think something happened to her, but she's not in there.
Willow, what made you come to this island, girl? That's what I would ask. That's my
What
first
are
question.
you getting out of
What
this
are you-
relationship?
What are you getting the best honey in all of fucking Northern California? Like, what are you getting out of this? Why are you on this island with all these strange people that hate you and think you're crazy
And
think your daughter?
curses.
And maybe killed her? I don't know. Question mark. Like, what's going on?
That are not helping you, and not
That are
only
not
not,
helping you,
actively
like-
helping you, they're trying to make you sound crazy.
It just doesn't make any sense why she would be here, but maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out.
So, as if this weird grave situation was not weird enough, they wander inexplicably to an ancient crypt that's on another part of the island.
And again, Nicolas Cage is like, this seems normal. Seems cool to me.
Absolutely no flags are being raised. Willow goes, I think she's still alive. I need you to trust me on this.
But my favorite part is, she goes,
Edward, I think they're going to hurt her. Or even...
Why would they? I'm trying to understand. I am. But why?
I think they might be trying to hurt her. And I'm like, bitch, I'm no cop. I don't know anything about investigating shit. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, they are trying to hurt her. They have told me they've actively killed her and buried her. I'm pretty sure they're trying to
she
kill
got
your daughter.
Burned to death.
Pretty sure all signs are leading to either burned or she turned into some weird bee honey mead situation. I don't know. I don't know what the
Or
fuck's going
maybe
on.
she turned into the crow.
Or maybe she turned into the crow that was locked in a freaking desk in this schoolroom that I just went to where there were bee drawings everywhere.
Everywhere.
He's like, Willow, you know what? I'm not too sad that you left me, girl. You're a little bit more daft than I am.
She's like, listen, I think they think she's the reason for the honey curse. They're like probably trying to get back at her.
So I know I didn't
something.
say this in my letter, babe. I know I didn't say this in my letter, but let me just say there's like this whole honey curse thing. Everyone's crazy about it. They love honeybees. They're like a big thing here. And they think she might be the curse of the honey, so they want to burn her. I don't know. Like, I am sorry to mention that in my 12-page handwritten snail mail letter, but it was urgent. I was in a rush. I was writing really fast because I need to find my daughter that may or may not be getting hurt or killed or burned.
May not be traipsing around the island in a burlap sack bag dripping blood. Listen, I don't know. I'm so frantic, though.
I am in a chaotic mood right now. It took me almost 6 hours to do this makeup, okay? I needed to look flawless for this ancient gravesite day I was going to have with you.
It's really important that I look this way when I told you this really important information. And I was so nervous about telling you about the honey curse. I was so nervous.
No one talks about the honey curse around here, okay?
So he does ask one semi-relevant question. He goes, okay, just Willow, take a deep breath. Why would anybody want to hurt her or you? And Willow's response is,
Sister Summer's Isle has never been very fond of my wild ways.
because Sister Summer's Isle doesn't like my wild ways.
Oh, God. Well, she's a
Kate,
wild child.
This is a
Don't call
whole
me a
thing.
weeping willow for nothing. I move these branches around left, right, all over the place. Like to get wild.
I can't, like, you gotta have a better answer than that.
Also,
no one's gonna
what are you-
kidnap your child and burn her at the stake because of your wild ways.
Could you imagine? Your child gets kidnapped and you're like, I just like to have a good time. I'm fine. I just have a good time. So they probably kidnapped and killed and burned my child because, I don't know, I like to have a good time and fun. Like,
I'm a fun girl,
Will?
so sue me.
One time I
About
had a lot of
Oakhurst,
honeymead.
yeah.
One time I had a lot of honeymead. I danced on Helga's bar. It was crazy. And so you know what? Gonna kidnap and kill my kid. Big deal. Like, that's the dumbest answer. Like, what could you possibly do wily ways on this island? Like, what?
Yes, because you're limited by so much. You don't have electricity, you don't have phone service, you don't
You
have
know what?
computers, you don't have modern fashion, you don't have men. So what? In what ways
She's
are
just
you
dancing for all
wild,
the
bud?
all the women at Helga's bar. She's like, hey, it was fun. Like to have a good time. Thanks. I'm fine. I'm fine. I like to have a good time. It's like, so... And he's like, I could tell by that calligraphy on that letter that you're a wild child. There was a few uncapitalized letters. Some spaces were off. So dumb.
She takes this last part of the conversation from 0 to 60 because not only is her child kidnapped and burned for her wild ways, she's also like, hey, the reason that I specifically ask you to help me is not just because you're a cop, but because you're her dad.
Oh, shit. Boom. That is a perfect example of how movies give you little bits of information at a time to keep you on the road. He's like, so you're now telling me after my daughter has burned for your wily ways that I'm her dad. I get it. You're a wily woman. I get it. Can't be held by these conventions. Couldn't tell me before. You gotta tell me after because you're wily.
You know what? You're
The whole
and I
time her
support that.
arms are up in the air and she's like flipping her head back and forth like, sorry. Ain't it good to be the coach? Just like a glass of wine just ends up in her hand and she's like, I'm sorry. This is who I am. You want to go party down at the honey factory? He's like, can never hold you down. You're a wily woman. And I get it. She's like, you want to come back to my single room studio with just a bed made out of wood and a desk where I write my letters? And he's like, you've always been crazy.
I'll show you how fast I can write those letters. It gets pretty crazy.
It's pretty chaotic. And maybe Helga will come over.
I gotta dip my pen like 20 times. Maybe 21. You don't know, I'm wild.
I'm wily. But, sorry. I'm wily, but my daughter burned, and you need to find her. Sorry, I just lost track because I'm crazy and fun. But my daughter burned. Can you please find her?
But my daughter's burned. So if you could actually just come back to this ancient crypt, we can figure out this mystery together. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. He's feeling a little overwhelmed, and he thinks
Only
maybe he
now. Only now. He's really overwhelmed. He's like, you know what? This may be too much.
He was fine until she told him that she was wild. And then
I
he's
know.
like,
He's
okay,
like, my
crossing the line.
ex-wife who didn't. Oh, now I know I shouldn't give me my engagement ring back. She's wild. She was wily.
She's
Sold
wild.
it for
She's
money
wild.
at the Honeymead bar.
He kind of goes through a little moment where he thinks he might try to escape, but he's having trouble getting off the island. Listen, I don't know if I told you this, but there's no phones, there's no electricity.
You think you're going to
no
get off
cars,
Summer's Isle?
nothing.
Hell no. He tries to get off boats. The boats are not discombobulated. He keeps seeing Rowan, he thinks, but slash like visions of this girl from the car accident. He's kind of unhinging a little. Unhinging? I was going to say unwinding and unhinging. He's
and he's still popping those pills, which we never find out what they are. I'm sure they're like supposed to be Xanax or something, but he's also clearly abusing the medication.
If I popped Xanax that much, I'd be asleep for 3 years. One time I took an adult Vicodin, was asleep for 1 year, okay?
An adult Vicodin? Is there baby Vicodin?
No, cat Vicodin. I have 2 cats, and they are very much so in pain.
I took a Vicodin for a grown person.
Hey, Cadence, I don't know if you know this, but me and Willow have a little bit in common.
I'm wild. I take cat Vicodin and I take adult Vicodin.
Cat Vicodin, cat Xanax, cat Vicodin, whatever the doctor, vet wants to give me, or my cats. It's fine.
So he does one really detective-y thing this entire movie, which is he remembers that in the lodge where he's staying, there are pictures.
Helga's Lodge.
Helga Beach's Lodge. There are pictures on the wall that have a name on them, T.H. Moss. And so he decides he's going to find her, and he goes to her house.
You're persistent. I'm on my way out, but perhaps I can help in some way.
I need to ask a couple of questions. It's quick.
Things are rarely quick. Come inside, then.
You're T.H. Moss, the photographer.
I'm first a physician, second a photographer. A distant second. Did you want your picture taken?
So you take the Harvest Festival photographs every year? The ones I saw up at the tavern?
Yes, it's a rather humdrum affair, I'm afraid.
You have last year's photographs?
Isn't it there with the others?
No. Apparently it got destroyed.
What a pity.
Do you have a copy?
I have the negative, of course, and I could have one printed up for you if you like.
That'd be great. Thanks.
He leaves, but guys, he doesn't leave. He just hides in the bushes because he has a feeling that that's not what she's going to do.
Yeah, because you tell her what you need from her.
Right.
And then you give her a full day to dispose of that evidence.
Right.
Which is what cops do. I get it.
He had this one detective-y moment where he puts 2 and 2 together and he finds the pictures and the photographer, and I'm like, good job. You're doing it, bud. You're there.
I hear that
and
you
then
get
immediately...
murdered. I hear that you get slaughtered, and I show up to your house and Jed's just covered in blood, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come back in one day. And when
but
I
you
come
better
back,
be ready.
You better be ready to show me exactly what happened, because it looks like you don't know yet.
Evidence.
And I walk away.
He waits for her to leave, which she does, and he scuttles all into her house. And in the process, he finds a handwritten document. This is what it says.
In societies as disparate as ancient Egypt and pre-Columbian Incan fertility festivals were utilized in much the same way. A younger woman was chosen to personify fertility and then killed in a blood ritual by the presiding priesthood. In turn, this gesture was thought to guarantee a successful harvest for the coming year. In Europe and the Americas, on the other hand, the offering was often burnt.
Yeah,
Very thorough. They'd love to really not only photograph. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. I'm wily. I don't know. I'm just really wily.
Listen. So he finds these drawers full of pictures, you guys. And there are pictures of Rowan. And guess what? On one of the pictures of Rowan, standing in a field, there's a note that says...
It's in the burn
Worst?
book. It says burn book. Worst harvest ever.
on
She's fugly.
record.
She's stupid. She's a fugly bitch. With sad faces and heart. No.
Sad faces and hearts.
With little knives going through them. Don't trust this fugly slut bitch. Because it's the burn book.
Yeah.
Get
She's
it? The
drug
burn
pusher.
book.
I got your joke, don't
But
you
also
worry.
for Mean Girls. No,
I
but
got
really
it.
what Cadence was saying was it really does say worst harvest ever. Mm.
They're so mad. You know what? They really are holding a grudge against her. There may have been a curse involved. There's also babies in jars, so it's a whole thing inside that house. You don't really know what's going on.
It's a bunch of side stuff we're just going to glaze over. Babies in jars are just one of them. She's a physician, a photographer, and a baby jar. And she
Listen,
likes honey.
How she crafts is her own business. He finds Willow. Don't ask me how you find anybody on this island, but whatever. He runs into her, and they have this crazy batshit argument where he shows her the picture of Rowan, and he's like,
What the hell is this?
It's a picture, that's all.
No, that is not all. Why don't you tell me Rome was a part of all this? Huh? The rituals.
I don't know.
Well, try, because I'm out there bouncing around in circles and I can use a little help.
Edward, why are you yelling at me?
How about this for starters? Our daughter is part of your worst harvest on record. Now, you said before that they blamed her, so why don't you tell me about this?
It's just, it's a ceremony that we have. I don't know anything else.
You live here. You must know something. You mentioned this ceremony. Define it. What is the day of death and rebirth?
It's a story. That's all it is, a story.
Look, I'm trying to trust you here, but every time I turn my head, there's something that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm frightened of this place, too. I was happy to leave here when I did, even though I came back. And I wish I hadn't. I wish that I stayed and made a life with you. Been with you all these years, but I didn't. I came back here and had our child, and now she's...
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Couple questions. How'd you hear about Summer's Isle? What made you choose to go there? Why are you still there? What the fuck's going on? And where did you get a camera to this island? There's no technology. This photographer woman, she's got a GoPro. She's filming the whole thing just for documentation.
She's like, I feel like I did tell you that they blamed her for the honey curse, but maybe you weren't listening.
But nobody
That
says
picture
why
verifies
they
it.
blamed her. Like, there's no reasoning.
No.
There's no understanding of why they blame this little girl. No one's really explained what the honey curse is. I guess the bees don't make
That there
honey,
was
and
no
honey
honey.
is their main export on Summer's Isle. It's
Yes.
how they get their I don't know. None of this is explained, nor is there any kind of investment in the story, because the whole time you're like, is this about honey? Because that's fucking ridiculous. Continue.
Don't worry. This interaction gets weirder because after all of that, he hugs her, says, none of this matters. We're going to find her. And then they kiss. Like a romantic kiss. So even though they fucking hate each other, I guess not. And it's weird because now they're kissing. Who knows anymore what's going on? I guess I'd be kissing her too. She is very beautiful, but
I'd be kissing her left and right. She's so hot. I'd be like, Willow, get those wily kisses on me. Meanwhile, he keeps having these crazy flashbacks of the little girl burning in the back of the car who keeps turning into Rowan. I don't want to confuse you guys too much because we are just as lost as you are at this point. Like, we have no idea what's going on, but that's just what's happening, okay?
he's just mentally, you can tell he's deteriorating. He steals a bike, whatever. He can do whatever he wants. He's a police officer.
Mhm.
And he wanders into yet another field. There's so many fields in this movie. And in this field, you guys, he's overtaken by bees, which you'll remember he's allergic to. Which
Wait, there's a
you'll
bee
remember.
theme? There's a bee theme to this movie? What? Color me.
been subtle.
Befuddled. Befuddled.
I get it. So he doesn't have his 22 EpiPens with him, you guys. He packed them, but he forgot to put them in his pocket. So, you know what?
Yeah, what's
He
the point of
starts
packing 22
having-
EpiPens if you don't carry one around with you?
I know. At least take
On a place
one
called
in your
Summer's
pocket.
Isle. You know there's bees on Summer's Isle.
I mean, and a bee physically landed on you your first day here. Just grab one of those bad
That
guys
should have been
and stick them in your
first.
pocket.
You should have been like, you know what? There are bees here. Wasn't sure. Now I am. Deathly allergic. Brought 22 EpiPens. Gonna pack one with me wherever I go.
Just
on my
stick it in my pocket.
mile-long walks in the forest.
The last thing he sees as he's having like this bee attack and he's going unconscious is flashbacks to the car that blew up and the little girl and her mother that disappeared. So he wakes up in the home of Sister Summer's Isle.
Had us scared, didn't we?
Where am I?
This is the home of Sister Summer's Isle.
He has not met her yet, however, because T.H. Moss, the photographer slash physician, is the one who greets
Slash
him.
baby collector.
Slash baby
Babies in
jar.
Collector, which we're not going to ask questions. Wily person.
And he's like, oh, cool. Did you find my EpiPens?
Did you use my kit? The adrenaline shot?
She's like, no.
Oh, no. Nothing like that. When they brought me to you, you were near death, clearly. So I treated the danger in the old way.
I figured it out. And he's like, all right, well, I'm not going to ask any questions about how you saved me from
I
imminent
got
death.
attacked by a
but okay,
swarm
cool.
of bees, and this is crazy, but regardless, I'm in Summer Isle's house now.
While I'm here, though, is it okay if I talk to Sister Summersile? And of course, they're going to be so accommodating, right? Like, nothing to see here. Of course, you can talk to Sister Summersile. Of course. So he finds her being magical in the garden.
Oh, she's pure magic. She's just Devil Wears Prada, just wearing a cloak in her beautiful stone home in the middle. It's a giant.
So, I hear you were expecting me. Why is that?
Just a matter of time before you came here. I believe you're looking for a child.
I might have found her.
Excellent.
Not exactly. In a grave.
Oh, hello. Hi. I hear you're looking for a child. And he's like, yeah. And guess what? I may have found her. And she's like, oh, that's excellent. And he's like, no, it's not. And she's like, why? Because she's in a grave. Oh. Come on.
I found her. Cool. In a grave.
And then she's like, oh, well, what's wrong with that? And he's like, well, I suspect some foul play. And she's like, what do you mean by foul play? Murder.
Let me spell this out
All
for you,
right,
Sister
let's just
Summersile.
really spell this
Murder.
out, Sister Summer Isle. She's been too magical. She just like, I've just been here with my bees. I don't know what murder is.
I just don't even know what the word murder means. What does that even mean? On Summer's Isle, we don't even have murder. Because listen, they're on a place called Summer's Isle. Her name is Sister Summer's Isle. So she's like Mother Earth incarnate. I don't know if you got that.
I didn't, and he sure did not either.
But that's how it goes. So she's got zero worries about the whole ordeal. He's like, I found this grave. The kid is in it. I need your again. Gives her the full rundown.
That's actually what he says. He says, I think I found her grave. And she goes, he goes, I need your permission to exhume the body. And she's like, why? And he's like, because I suspect foul play. Yeah, dude, that's what murder is. Murder is foul play.
He told you this, but that's what foul play means, bud.
Oh, God.
So he tells her again the whole plan. He spells it all out. I'm going to exhume the body. I'm going to check it. I'm going to see if anybody murdered her. I'm going to see if she was burned alive. And she goes, well, like here, we don't have that word. Like murder doesn't exist. And he's like, yeah, I've heard about your festivals, but I have some news for you. Even if someone complies to be burned at a stake, it's still murder because you're burning them at the stake. She's like, I'm Mother Earth incarnated. I don't know if you caught that. It's all good. We're fine. And of course, during this entire scene, there's millions of bees buzzing everywhere.
So many bees, and they're giant, and they take over the screen. You get a little distracted by the dialogue because they're like, okay, bees, we get it. You could have cooled it on the bees.
They're just hitting you over the head with the bee stuff. So this is when she says, we don't need men for anything. I get that you feel important. I get you coming in here with your phallic self, telling everybody your plan and you're going to find this kid and be a hero. But we don't need you for literally anything. It's all women here and we take care of our shit. And he's like, number one, you're not, because there's a curse and you're not making any honey, so you're not taking care of your shit.
The one thing you're not taking care of is your honey shit, bitch. You got a curse. Guess what? Mrs. Honey told me that. Sister Honey. I don't know if you remember Sister Honey, Lily Sobieski. She told me that you guys aren't on top of your honey shit. There's a lot of talk going around this.
I found a picture that said worst harvest ever.
I found your little burn book in your photographer THC's house, and it said worst harvest ever. Well, I was thinking maybe like marijuana status. Like
I know.
What's her name? No, TH Moss. THM.
Because moss, like,
is also
plants,
nature, like fur. like police officer
fur.
Fur.
So she's like, we do need men for one thing.
Well, hold on. Let me, while you give this speech, she's giving him a tour of her bee farm. And he's deathly allergic to bees. And he's like, oh, well, if I just tie my blazer a little tighter, these bees won't get me. So there are
now,
bees
like my face and neck and hands are exposed. It's fine.
She's actively like, look, we don't need men. Let me show you my bee farm.
Yeah, she's like, we don't need men. We actually hate them. Want to come to my bee farm? You're a guy, right?
Let's have a chat. You're allergic to bees, right? Let's have a chat over here by my bee farm. And no matter what you've heard, this honey's delicious. There's no curse here. Sit down. Let's talk about dicks. There's not a curse in sight here. See, these bees are flying all over. They're happy bees.
They're happy. They're making tons of honey.
They're dripping in this honey. I'm swimming in milk and honey. That's swimming in milk and honey. I'm swimming in. She's just trying to convince him so hard. He's like,
I'm just
these
so
aren't
full. Did you see all those ladies walking through the forest with their honey bellies? Like, we're so full on honey. Like, we just
come up with
can't
this
stop
really
eating
funny
it.
like term, like, "Hey girl, you eat so much honey, you're willing to poo in it." Yeah, Pooh Bear. Like, it's like a fun thing we do. We're full
It's
of
a game.
honey.
It's a game. Listen, I don't know if Willow told you she's not the only wild one around here.
We love our honey. It's a whole thing. Come see my bees. Anyway.
So she's like, we only need men for one thing, breeding. And he's like, well, what if anybody has a boy? And she's like, well, that depends. But then he's like, I have one more question for you. In the process, though, she never answers what happens to the boys. And he never follows up about what happens to the boys.
He doesn't care. He's got one thing on his mind. He does not care.
So, does not matter. So anyway, she's like, hey, here's your bike. Thanks for stopping by. It was great giving you a tour of my honeybees. Like, why don't you just hit the road, Jack? There's nothing to see here. If you need to exhume the grave, whatever. He does go back to the grave and exhumes it. And guess what? There's not a body in there.
Willow,
There's a burnt doll.
You wily bitch. You were right, Willow. They didn't burn your daughter's body.
He decides that the best course of action is to venture down to the ancient crypt in the middle of the night because it's always easy to find
That's where he's
stuff
gonna
at
get answers.
night.
They're
It's
keeping
always
Willow.
great to like collect evidence in the middle of the night with no tools or anything.
And he doesn't go in casual clothes, you guys. This whole movie, he's in a business suit. So he's like, I'm going to venture down to this ancient tomb. It's in the middle of a field. There's not going to be any bees here. Goes down. There's no bees, but there's a lot of water. And I know when I go down in tombs and I'm like exploring them, I'm like, I'm just going to hold my breath
In the
as
dark.
long as I can in the dark and swim underground in an ancient tomb. Makes the most sense. Seems the most logical way to get answers.
Right.
And that's what he does.
It was the right choice too because he got locked in. I mean, so
Because
good job.
obviously he goes through these tunnels. The only thing he finds is an old Jesus statue, which again, we don't know anything about. But he does get locked
no
in.
context.
But guess who finds him?
Of course, Willow.
Because she's
The
wily. She's down at the graveyard
She's
having
like, I'm just being
graveyard
wild out
dances.
here.
Hey, I was just drinking some honey mead out with my friends. We were smoking honey pot. I'm just wily. So she finds him and she's like, yeah, I'm going to get you out. Because of course he's stuck in like a sewage pipe drain thing. I don't know.
There's some sort of like gate covering this underwater pond. You guys, it sounds nuts because it is. There's no context whatsoever.
We don't know what's going on. Not
The
a
one
soul.
thing I wanna
Did the bees
say-
build this? Who built this? Did Summer's Isle build this? Did the
They've
bees
been
build it?
busy.
Did Willow build this? Who?
Is it part of the
What's going on?
curse? We don't know. So he's starting to have flashbacks, like in the moment of panic where he feels like, or he realizes he's locked in the underground pond. He starts seeing flashbacks to the accident and the police officer who came to tell him that they didn't find the bodies. And guys, all of his flashbacks are populated now with bees. I don't know if you know this, but that
God,
means something.
Who the fuck is the god of the honey? They really don't take
Piss
this
the
shit
fuck
lightly. God, now I know to risk. Every time I buy honey at the farmer's market, I'm going to be thinking 10 times more about where it came from.
You are risking kidnapping, death, being burned at
excuse
the
me,
stake, curses.
Is this honey cursed? Did a young child burn at the stake for this honey? That's what I'm going to ask
Were
every
any
person at the
children
stall.
harmed in the making of this honey? She gets him out of the locked pond, whatever, underground pond. He's carrying the burnt doll, and this is when he flips out.
This hers? Tell me!
Yes, I think it's, yeah.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?
I don't know!
So as you can see, he's real mad. He really wants to know how that shit got buried.
How did it get burned,
How did
Willow?
that burned, buried doll get in there? And he's so angry. Things are coming together. I don't think so.
As together as this movie could possibly gather them.
All right, let's power through this.
So, in his fury, he heads back to Sister Summer's Isle's house, and he just screams wildly for her at this point. He's like, Summer's Isle! Summer's Isle! Summer's Isle! The rest of the movie is just him screaming things repeatedly.
Nicolas Cage, of course it is.
All he finds in his search for Sister Summer's Isle is like this old dude in a bed missing an eye.
He's
and
been
then
stung, Cadence, 1,000 times by bees.
And then we see
But
a
you know
girl,
what?
like,
He does seem pretty comfortable.
he's in a silk
He's
bed.
in a really nice bed with a fire going. Like, I'm like, all right, well, a couple bee stings doesn't seem that bad. I'll stay with someone else.
And then we see this girl, this apparition of a girl, disintegrate into a bunch of bees, and still we're not any closer to understanding why. And then we see Sister Summer's Isle.
Wait, hold on. No, I gotta set this up. Okay, so after he finds the girl who disintegrates into a bunch of bees, he goes up, he's looking through every bedroom in Summer's Isle's house, and there are lots of bedrooms, and I would like to point out that every window looks like a honeycomb, and it's got a honey-colored honeycomb glass, just to really emphasize the bee. So then he
the
finds
queen
a
bee,
room.
Colin. I just realized that.
I know, because then he goes into a room. You guys, I don't know if she planned this. I don't know if she was waiting, but he goes in and Summer's Isle is living her best fucking life, you guys.
But he doesn't find her.
He
That's the
almost
thing.
finds her. He gets scared by the girl with the bees.
Right, he screams and leaves after that, and so she's living her best life.
Then you see
they're
Sister
like, "We just
Summer's
missed him."
Isle. Okay, and she is in silk honey sheets, hair down, silk lace bra, surrounded by beautiful women, and she's just staring, and she's like, "I really fooled him." And I'm like, how long did it take you to get ready to sit in your bed like that? You guys, it's a full slow. She's in her bed. It's not a bed. It's raised on 10 stairs. She's hair down. And like Kaden said, I think this symbolizes she's the queen bee.
You think that this is going to be like a really monumental moment that they're going to come back to this room? Never
Nope.
again.
Nope.
Do we see what's
She's
going
just
on
lounging.
in this room?
She's lounging, and she's like, I guess I should go see my stung to death husband or my phallic symbol. Like, he's got his room, she's got hers, and hers is way more elaborate. And I'm sitting there thinking, what are you doing in that bed all day, girl?
All these women just surrounding her, touching her, just like want to be near her, and she's just like, guess I fooled him. So
I'm not always looking after my bee farms. I'm laying in my silk bed with my hair down, looking like a queen.
You think that maybe it's like the start of some kind of ceremony or something, but no, nothing ever happens.
It's just to show you how
That's just her.
fabulous she is, I guess. She's very Mariah Carey in that. She's Mariah Carey bubble bath. So after all that presentation, after all that work that Summer's Isle's done for no reward because he did not find her, he starts going crazy. He's running around, and then he sees this woman in a big old crow mask come down on a bike. It is the school teacher,
Sister Rose.
And he's like, bitch, get off the bike. Pulls a gun on her.
We're all preparing.
For what? Celebration?
Oh, yes. Of death and rebirth.
Sister Rose, she's only a child. You're a teacher. Please, just think about what you're doing.
The time for sentiment is over. The moment has come.
I won't let her die. Get off the bike. Get off the bike. Step away from the bike.
What's this festival, Sister Rose? Tell me about it. Is my wily ex-wife gonna be there?
Tell me more. So he takes her bike and steals it and starts riding basically to the first house he sees because he's gonna find Rowan. God damn it! So he goes into the house, and the mom's like, "You wait a minute. You don't have permission to go through my house." And he's like, "Well, you have permission to stay out of my fucking way." So yeah. So then he says one of my favorite things. He says, "I'm gonna search every inch of this town in the next 3 hours. So you guys better make sure that it's facilitated." And I'm like, "You're gonna search an entire town, every inch of an entire town in 3 hours?"
Again, you're announcing to the whole town. You're announcing to the whole town that they need to hide whatever evidence they have because you're coming around in 3 hours. He goes to all kinds of houses, including Helga's little mead factory. And guess what, you guys? He socks Helga in the face. He has zero time for her bullshit. She asks him questions. She's kind of putting up a little fight. No, he's fully pulled a gun on someone. Now he socked this woman in the face. She falls dead on the ground. And he's just like, what is going on? And this whole time, we're still asking as viewers, what the hell is going on? We're still not sure.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Helga was right in the middle of a very important costume fitting for the ceremony, her bear costume. And so after he knocks her out,
did you pick that costume? Girl, come on.
He steals it and he sneaks into the ceremony in the bear costume. And because it's fully covering his face and body, they think it's Helga. Guys, it was the sneakiest.
Of course they think it's Helga. I told you Helga's got kind of a more broad frame, we'll say. So yeah, it makes sense that Nicolas Cage.
As he comes into the ceremony, he sees a little girl, aka Rowan, for reals this time, being offered up in a ceremony.
Where were they keeping her this whole time? Keeping her in a little room somewhere? My favorite part is Summer's Isle. She got off of her silk bed with her women, and she has painted her face full Braveheart. She looks full like she's going to a Michigan State football game. Everyone else is wearing kind of these chic, like, masks. Like, Sister Rose had, like, this crow mask, and there's, like, leather bear mask. You see Summer's Isle, her face is half blue, half white, full face paint.
And I'm like, okay. You know, like those beer helmets? She's like, let's get this party started.
She forgot. She's like, you guys, I ran out of my costume. There was this guy berating my house. He saw my stung-to-death husband. I only could get what I had. It was a Halloween costume from last year from a Michigan State football
Take
game.
and run. It's the only thing I have to wear.
I'm not lying. Her face is half pure white, half, like, cobalt blue. She looks full like she's going to a football game. Very creative
Good job,
direction.
Sister Summersale. You've got
like,
all
I'm
of
starting
nature
this new
at your
trend.
disposal, and this is what you chose.
You guys, are you going with animal theme again? I told you we're doing something different this year. We're doing football college state.
Pick your favorite team and go for it. Get crazy.
Get crazy. I went with Michigan State, you guys. I told you this. I handwrit calligraphied letters to all of you. It's very out of place, you guys, but she's feeling it. She does not care. She doesn't give a fuck. She's just like, I'm the queen bee.
As she's monitoring the ceremony before her, Nicolas Cage just starts throwing punches at all the women.
What else are
They don't know what hit him because he's in the bear costume still. So they're like, is this Helga? Is Helga punching us? What's going on? He grabs Rowan and starts booking it into the forest. Now, listen, there are roughly 200 women involved in this ceremony.
You've got to back up one step, and I don't usually do this.
What's
but
the step?
he starts trying to shoot people first. Before he starts punching them, he tries to shoot all of them. But guess what? He doesn't have any bullets because guess what? Willow's holding them in her hand, and she shows them. She's like, you mean these bullets? And she drops them all. So now you're like, Willow, come on.
Did I miss that?
It's true. That's
I totally
her
missed
betrayal.
that.
So then he starts
She's a wild
punching
one.
everybody crazy, takes Rowan, runs into the woods.
So he starts throwing punches, takes her into the woods, and what I was saying is that there's like 200 women at this festival. He's in a bear costume carrying a child, and somehow he outruns this entire group of women that's chasing him into the woods. Somehow he's that fast. So then his cell phone rings, which, by the way, there's no cell phone coverage, so it's like a fluke. He starts screaming for his partner to save him.
Hello? Hello? Pete! Help us! Help! Please! Please help!
It's a telemarketer, Carl. He's like, well, I have an insurance question about the car.
That would be the case. So you think maybe there's going to be this like small side plot of like this brief moment of cell phone reception is going to be this salvation, but that's not what happens.
Nope.
Rowan is like, hey, I know where we can go. And she leads him right back into the fucking ceremony. And she goes, oh, hey guys, did I do okay?
Rowan, you sneaky bitch, just like your wily mom. You are one wily girl.
And then we get this speech from Sister Summersile.
Welcome, Mr. Malis. You have come of your own free will to keep this appointment with the Wicker Man. And now the game is over.
The game of the hunter leading the hunted.
We came to find our little Rowan. But it is we who have found you, just as we intended to do.
I don't understand. Rowan was missing. I had to come. I had a letter. Willow, tell them. Willow, please tell them.
The letter was from all of us here. Your invitation to visit, one might say.
You see, you were just the man we needed. And we were determined to get you here.
Notice, Sir Knight, how we led you to believe that your daughter would be sacrificed due to the failure of the crops last year.
But they did fail. I saw the photo.
Yes, they failed, all right. Disastrously so. But we are always prepared with a powerful sacrifice. And that, my friend, is your destiny.
It is your destiny.
The game is over. The tables have turned because I don't know if you know this, but they all wrote the letter together.
I feel like if you wanted Nicolas Cage to come to this island to sacrifice him, you didn't have to go through half this shit. You could have been like, hey, Willow,
guess who pops
write
up?
Nick Cage and say, your engagement ring's here. Come pick it up. All of this.
You would have been there in a flash.
Heartbeat.
You got my ring?
Hit him over the head. You're done. You're done. What is
you guys,
going on?
Listen to me. One of the women at the ceremony is the fucking female police officer that showed up to his house with the letter from Willow that said they could not find the bodies. And standing next to her is the mother and the child from the car whose bodies they could not find. They staged a car blowing up.
How did they do that?
Staged
How did they do that?
woman
Because I would like to
in
say
the police department.
this is so.
get
Hey,
him
what the
to
fuck
the
is their
island.
budget? What the fuck is their budget? Okay, how
You guys
much
are
budget
selling
did they have to
honey,
pull
and
this
this was
off?
the worst honey crop ever. So don't
Okay.
you tell me
You've got
you had a lot of
honey
money.
involved. You've got animal costumes. Also a truck, a full 18-wheeler ran into the car with the woman and child. You're telling me that they hopped out right before it hit engage, and then he saw the little girl not giving a fuck in the back seat burning to death.
Because she knew she wasn't going to burn to death. She was
But how
like,
did they
yeah,
plan
big
that?
whoop, I'm going to get out.
How did they plan? Summer's Isle, dude. She's got
Summer's
that
Isle.
blue and white face paint on. She knows how pyrotechnics work. She is getting it.
The accident was staged. His coworker was staged. The letter, they all wrote the letter together. Can you
Come
imagine
on.
all 200 of these women like gathered around with their calligraphy? Okay, and then tell him that like the girl's lost, but like nobody will help you find her, and that
And then
like
forget to we're going to make this really have you guys ever been to an escape room? I went to one in Philadelphia one time and they did this thing where they like had all these clues and it was like, what's going on? Like, this is so dumb. Also, there
And they're
was
like, you
one woman at the ceremony who missed the memo of what to do. She's dressed like a baby lamb butterfly. Okay? You know what I'm talking about. Sideburns with the butterfly. It's like, girl, you gotta pick an animal and go with it. She's in the background like, I missed the memo. It's either college football team colors or it's a single animal. I went a little more creative with this one.
or a butterfly.
They're like, are you a baby lamb? And she's like, well, I tried to go creative. Like, lamb meets butterfly meets honey. Okay,
I don't know if you've noticed this, but we're like really into bees. So I thought like maybe if the lamb was like kind of a bee too, that it would work.
I'm going for the like lamb bee vibe. Anyway, you guys, we're getting way off point.
Willow, why have you done this to me?
And then he's like, Willow, we just made out. I cannot believe you're doing this. She's like,
we orchestrated all of this with the greatest care, everything that's happened. Be proud of yourself. You have done so well.
Yes, my daughter speaks the truth. Your fate was sealed many years ago when she chose to be with you.
Your daughter.
Yes, my Willow.
hey, did I forget to tell you that Summer's Isle is my mom?
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Guys, this plot was so convoluted. So many people spent so much time and energy. Think about this. Think about this.
Summer's
His
Isle needs to
co-workers
get-
spent
you know what?
time working as police officers in order to invite him to a place that she would have been like, hey, do you want to hang out?
Is
He'd
she
have
a
been like,
resident
yes.
of Summer's Isle? Because how did she go through police academy training school?
Yes.
In the place where Nicholas... All that just so they could burn him to fix their honey crops. Like,
Because
I'm
here's the thing,
dying.
too. The second he steps on the island, he's outnumbered. Grab him, throw a sack over him, take him out back. Do you really need to be like, we don't know her? Okay, well, we do know her. But, like, she's crazy.
Also,
so, like, the girl's not missing.
you know
She's
what?
dead.
At
But, like,
this
not really
point,
dead.
Just throw a bunch of sticks on the ground and burn him on top of that. You guys, we're leaving out a very important part. They burn Nicolas Cage to death in a giant wicker / wooden man. We left that out because all of this that we're getting tied up in, but that's what they do. They sacrifice him and they burn him and they led him to the island so that they could just burn him in a giant wicker man.
Why did they have to stage the accident? If she sent the letter saying, I need help, my kid is missing.
He became a hero. He had to become an accident hero for them.
That alone would have worked.
They're like, Willow's like, I could just send him a letter asking him to come. And Summer's Isle's like, no, let's go one step further, bitch. Let's stage an entire accident with thousands of dollars of pyrotechnics and an 18-wheeler.
Let's plant someone in the
Let's
police
plant
department who
something.
has to give up at least 2
Okay,
years of their
here,
life to
you have
really
to-
get in there.
We're going to know exactly where he is so that you drive past him at exactly this thing. And then your daughter is going to throw a doll
Throw
out
his
the
doll
window
out.
so that he will pull you over, okay? The doll's made out of porcelain, okay? I'm like, dude, come on. Willow, write him a letter and be like, hey, I'm going to pawn your engagement ring. He would have been there in a second. Then they're like,
Or
okay,
my kid is missing. He shows up. I will help you. They throw him in a bag. Take him out back. It's over.
Actually,
It's
no.
done.
Actually, you don't even need that. Be like, hey, we're going to hire a little plane pilot to take you to this island. And he's like, I'll bribe you. The plane pilot hits him, takes him, delivers him, hand delivers him to the island. There were so many shortcuts you could have taken.
Anyway, did they need him to be dependent on drugs in some way? Did they need him to have a mental breakdown in order for this
The
to
pharmacist
work
at his
better?
local Walgreens is like, I'm part of this too. I'm also part
She
of this
pops
whole...
up at the festival. She's like, I'm filling your meds.
She's dressed as some kind of pharmaceutical, like, she's like that snake that goes around the pole. She's like, yeah, that's me, pharmacy queen. Like, I'm part of nature too. What is going on? It's so stupid.
So stupid.
His
so
police
much
chief
time
shows
and
up in a bear
energy.
costume too. Like, I'm part of this too. I hired you so that this year. It's so
It's
dumb,
like,
you guys.
no wonder you guys had the worst harvest ever. No one was paying attention to the bees. Everybody was deep in this plot to
This
get
would have taken
engaged to the
16
island.
years. This would have taken 16 years to plan. Okay, you could not have pulled this off any better. And I'm sickened by Lily Sobieski. You dumb bitch. You were part of this whole time. You too, Brute?
And then as he's dying, he yells the best line of the entire movie, which is hard to say because there are lots of good ones, but he goes,
You bitches! This is murder! And you're doing it for nothing! Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey!
But I know it will.
I mean, he's right about 2 of those things. Actually, he's right about all of it. They are doing it for nothing. It is murder. Probably won't bring back their honey, and they are bitches. So, you know what? He's got 4 for 4.
4 out of 4? He's a detective.
Only
put those
when he's
together himself?
only when he's being hauled up, because then they had to build a whole device to haul him up to the top of the wooden Burning Man.
Because you find out that the thing they like the group was building earlier that he passed by and didn't ask any questions about was a giant, like 60-foot high man made out of wicker and wood, and they have to hoist Nicolas Cage all the way. They built a little pulley system just to get him up. Again, not a mystery why their crops failed. Everybody on the island has been building this incredible structure
Nicolas
for
Cage.
months.
Nicolas Cage, you broke into the photographer's house after, and you saw pictures of the ceremony. You knew what was happening.
This feels like a ceremony where someone gets burned to death.
He's like flipping through a book of all these different people getting burned underneath worst harvest ever. And he's like, this seems like something that could happen to me, maybe. What did he think? Oh, there's so many questions. What do you think was going to happen?
And he's like, you know what? They didn't tell me what happened to the boys. That's my bad for not following through, and I had the chance.
No, I really haven't asked any questions about all these bees. What happens to the men or boys? And yeah, I didn't bring my EpiPen, so this is on me.
So they chant the drone must die for about 5 solid hours while they hoist him to the top of the Wicker Man and light it on fire. He's screaming for that entire time. Then all of a sudden it cuts and you're like, the movie's over. No. Because really quick, we see text on the screen that says 6 months later, ...
Oh,
And
God, I forgot about this.
Do not spill the beans.
I get too excited.
So,
someone very special
in
makes
this
an appearance.
bar, a young James Franco and a young Jason Ritter, who I love Jason Ritter so much, they're hanging out at a bar. There's like some sort of celebration happening, and they're looking for women. They're like, who should we take home? There's no hot girls here. And then they spot 2. They're like, oh, hey, look at those. That's the fucking beans. It's Sister Honey and Willow. at the bar
Dun, dun. Oh, and they're
in
looking
modern clothing,
fresh.
and they're like, hey, what are you guys doing? What do you do? And both of the guys are like, we just graduated from the police academy. And Sister Honey's like, hey, will you take me home tonight? And then it ends. The women, I guess, are out back seducing. Why do they have to seduce police officers? What is the point? What is the point?
Police officers produce the best honey.
I'm telling you
I've
right
known
now.
this. Police officers, best honey. Again,
Like,
how are you
why?
paying for the flights to go to this place? The bar tab, the clothes. You could seduce.
And
Literally
why
could
are they
write a
targeting
stranger.
police people?
Post on Reddit, dude. Post on Reddit and be like, someone come to this mysterious island. You'll get
And Colin,
someone. You'll
he
get
was
someone.
already gonna die from the bee attack. So they saved his life so they could burn him again. And then they go out and search for, what do they have against police officers? Like, I get it. The police system
know.
needs a revision, but like, what is the point?
I
What
wanna
does
know
the
who was
police
on
have to do with honey?
You know what? I want to know what our rules would have been in this whole thing. I know what I would have been. I would have been on burning doll committee and putting that doll in grave committee. Colin, you got to make this doll look really burned, bury it in a thing, and put a tombstone there. That's what my job
Make sure
would
to
have
carve a tombstone. Make sure to take a lot of time to haul a giant rock of
Yep.
granite down and carve a little tombstone out of it. It's
Because
going to take a while, but it'll be totally worth
dug up
it.
that. I mean, they really thought ahead. They thought of
They
everything.
really did. They,
What if he goes rogue
every
and tries to
turn.
dig up the grave? Have a burned baby doll in there.
Done.
What if he tries to seduce Willow? Have her kiss him.
Done.
What if he tries to go into the secret ancient aqueduct tomb? Put a
Done.
thing over there, make sure Willow's there. Boom.
The one thing you know what? I'm not even going to say the one thing we don't follow up on. One of the many things we don't follow up on is why the fuck a crow was trapped in a desk? What was symbolism with that? Anybody?
Actually, that's
Anybody
what I
know?
would have been in charge of. You're going to put a crow in a desk. You got to catch this crow. Catch one of these magpies outside your house that's stalking you. Put him in a desk. That's your job. And I'd have been proud to do it. You know what? I love honey so fucking much. I won't do this since there's tomorrow for you because I fucking love honey. Like, what is the incentive? Is it honey? Is that the incentive?
I don't
to do all these
know,
murders?
because they're like, we had the worst crop, but don't worry, we're going to sacrifice you. But I'm like, you wouldn't have had a bad crop had you paid attention to it all year instead of coming up with this plot for the last 2 years. If your attention would have been in the right place, your honey would have been just fine.
Yeah, Mother Earth, you should be able to
No-
sustain yourself by
Yeah.
living your life and paying
I
attention to
don't
things you do.
get it.
Instead
What
of
are
spending all this
because
money
where
on
did
getting
the curse come from? If they're doing everything right and they're not using men and they don't need their phallic bullshit, then why are they being cursed?
Because there's that crazy woman at the other end of the island who's like, I'm the one that curses people. It makes no sense. It's the dumbest movie I've ever seen.
But Willow's ageless, good for her.
That's your takeaway. Willow, you look fucking great for a wily woman, okay? You look real good.
You look great.
Because I've met many wily women in my day. When you reach a certain age, that wiliness catches up to you.
It really does. And I just don't understand
We're gonna go.
this. Never mind. There's so
Like,
much I
you're
don't
a
understand.
beautiful woman who can get young James Franco at a bar to go home
Right.
with you. Why? What is your reasoning for being on this fucking island?
Right.
Is
You
it
don't need to
brainwashing
set up an
because they
elaborate
don't?
plan
Yeah,
when
they
you're
don't-
beautiful.
They don't talk about it being brainwashing. They don't talk about it being honey in specific, even though they lead to it. But then you're like, they're doing all this for honey. That makes no fucking sense. So, like, what is your motivation to have your child hide away for 6 months while you lead a police officer to his death for the sake of a harvest? It's not like sex or power, like a power couple. Like, it's a bunch of women that live in harmony. What is your motivation?
Was this plot thought of so far in advance that she got pregnant on purpose, specifically so in 10 years
Hey,
she could write him a
Cadence.
letter to say that their kid was missing?
You don't know what is going through Summer Isle's head. She's got a plan for everything. You saw her laying in that giant bed with her hair down with that silk.
She's got nothing to do but
plenty of
think.
time to think. She's got time to think about everything. All right, guys.
Anyway.
Well, we appreciate you. This is a long one. We did go a little bit over what we
Sorry.
usually go, but we just
Listen, we were trying to
just really
unravel
don't.
this plot, and it
I
was-
think that's it. We can't do too complicated movies. It has to be a snow beast killing people, a saber tooth killing people, a gator killing people. We can't go into this psychological thriller shit. It's too much. All right. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week with another really good movie. See you later, honey. Honey, my little honeybees.
Bye.